So now we will study about the fertilization in human, that how fertilization takes place in human being. Students, in human, internal fertilization takes place, means the fusion of male and female gamete takes place inside the female body. Millions of sperms are introduced in the vagina of a female through the penis during mating. The process of releasing sperm into the vagina is called ejaculation. Okay, the sperms are highly active and motile. Their tail, increase their motility rate. They reach the fallopian tube through the uterus. One of the sperm fuses with the ovum in the fallopian tube to form a zygote. After fertilization, a covering is formed around the fertilized egg, which prevent the sperm from entering into it. Students, I am saying, like millions of sperm, enters during one intercourse. Million of sperms enter into the vagina. Okay, but out of million of sperms, only one sperm fuse with the female gamete, that is egg. Okay, when one sperm enters in when one sperm's head enter in the female ovum, okay, then it protects the covering layer around the egg, which prevents the other sperms to enter inside the egg. You can see in the picture on the screen even. Okay, when this sperm nucleus fuses with the ovum nucleus, that it, you can see here in the picture, second picture, zygote picture, the nucleus is fusing. Okay, then it leads to the formation of an fertilized egg, that is zygote. Okay, students, one case, if the ovum is not fertilized, 1%, agar fertilization nahi hoti hai, then what happens? Then this egg is expelled from the vagina with some muscles and blood. Okay, and this is known as menstruation. It takes place in females once in a month when the ovulation takes place, mean the egg is released in female body. Now after fertilization, how the development of the baby takes place, that is development of the embryo takes place. Students, after fertilization, the zygote starts dividing rapidly and forms a ball of hundreds of cells. You can see here in the picture, even when the zygote, after the zygote stage, the cell starts dividing 2 into 4, 4, 8, 8, 16, 16, 36, 64, and it divides into hundreds of cells. Okay, and then cell begins to form groups. Cell क्या करते, groups बनाते हैं, then groups turn into tissues and tissue into organs. Okay, and now this is called the developing stage of the zygote, and at this stage the zygote is called embryo. When the zygote is developing in the developing structure stage, that is called embryo. Okay, and then embryo is get embed in the wall of the uterus. Then क्या होता है, जो यूट्रस की वॉल होती है, जो एम्ब्रियो है, ये ब्लास्टुलर स्टेज में क्या करता है, डेवलप एम्बेड कर लेता है अपने आप को यूट्रस की वॉल में. यूट्रस की वॉल डिसॉल्व होके उसके लिए स्पेस बनाती है ताकि वो अच्छी तरह से वहां पे प्लांट हो जाए. ठीक है, एंड द प्रोसेस ऑफ एम्बेडमेंट इज कॉल्ड इम्प्लांटेशन. ओके, एंड द एम्ब्रियो कंटिन्यूज टू डेवलप इन द यूट्रस. ओके, in the uterus after the implantation. At one stage, students, when the tissues turn into organs and the body parts of the embryo can be identified, like hand, legs, eyes, ears can be identified. At this stage, the embryo is called the fetus. Okay, the stage of the embryo in which all the body parts can be identified is called fetus. Okay, fetus is attached to the uterus by a special structure, students, that is called placenta. The picture is given in your book, or I'm showing you on the screen even. The placenta provides oxygen and nutrients to the fetus and also removes the waste. Okay, when development of fetus is complete, the mother gives birth to the baby, and the act of giving birth to the baby is called parturition. Okay, it's a period of 9 months or 40 weeks in human. Hope the development of embryo is clear to you, students. Now there is one case that if in some women, the fallopian tubes, that the oviducts are blocked due to some reasons. As you know, fallopian tubes are the site of fertilization, right? and if fertilization of takes place, then only the women will be pregnant. But if the oviducts are blocked, then what will happen? These women are unable to bear babies because sperms cannot reach to the egg for the fertilization, right? So in such cases, what doctors do? Doctors, test and diagnose ovulation, ovarian stimulation क्या है, injections, medications दी जाती हैं, and then freshly released eggs and sperms collect किए जाते हैं, and then keep them together for a week, for few hours, for the IVF, that is in vitro fertilization, that the fertilization takes place outside the body. Okay, in case fertilization occur, अब कुछ चांसेस होते हैं जहाँ पे फर्टिलाइजेशन नहीं हो पाती है, सक्सेसफुल नहीं होता है केस, बट इन सम इफ in case the fertilization occurs, that the zygote is allowed to develop for about a week, and then it is placed in the mother's uterus, and the complete development of the baby takes place inside the mother's body. Okay, so baby born through this technique is called the test tube babies. Okay, so students, there is one example, that is hen. As we know, in hen also internal fertilization takes place, but it lays eggs, right? Because after fertilization, the zygote divides rapidly and travels to the oviduct. As it travels, many protective layers are formed around it, and hard shell that we see in a hen's egg is one such protective layer. After the hard shell is formed around the developing embryo, the hen finally lays the egg. An embryo takes about 3 weeks to develop into chick. The hen sits on the egg to provide sufficient warmth, and this is called the incubation period, when the hen provides warmth to the eggs by sitting on it. The development of chick takes place inside the eggshell during this period. When the chick is completely developed, it bursts open the eggshell, and this is called hatching. The chick comes out of the shell and undergoes the development process. Okay. Similarly, young ones of insects, reptiles, and other birds hatch from eggs, but the fertilization is internal in them. Students, as you know that some animals give birth to young ones and some lay eggs, right? So the animals which lay eggs are called the oviparous animals. Two types of animals are there, oviparous and the viviparous animals. Oviparous animals are the animals which lay eggs. Ovi is taken from the word ovas, that is eggs. Okay, and second are the viviparous animals that give birth to young ones, like we human beings. Okay, the eggs of few animals are easy to collect because their mother lay eggs outside their body. These animals from which we have collected the eggs are example of oviparous animals, but you would not be able to collect the eggs of dog, cow, cats. This is because they do not lay eggs. The mother gives birth to the young ones, and these are the examples of viviparous animals.